Nope. Sit. Back up. Back up more.
That's just amazing.
Good girl. Good girl. He thinks you're amazing. He thinks you're amazing. I think you're the smelliest dog ever. Hey guys, this is Martin Wright from Argos Dog Training. This video is the third video in our Dogs in COVID series. Maybe that'll be the title. Nobody knows what the title of this series is yet because we didn't come up with one yet. We're just shooting videos. But yeah, so this might be the third video. There could be a chance that we could have other videos. We will have other videos if you ask questions and you put them in the comments below, or if you go to hashtag #AskArgos at Twitter and put them there. We might extend this series for you if you have anything interesting that you would like us to talk about. But this is the third video in this series. And I know that very shortly, within a year, 2 years, one of the big things that I'm gonna get a lot of calls about is separation anxiety, because the things that we have done with our dogs has changed so much. The structure from everyday life and the way that we socialize our dogs to the world has changed so much during this pandemic. We're going back to a way that dogs like it, actually are more natural for dogs, where the pack stays together. The pack is always together. The problem is that the human family does not do that. We separate regularly. You know, the kids go to school while the parents go to work. You know, the kids stay in the village while the parents go hunting or go gathering. You know, this has been the way it's been for us forever, basically. You know, we separate. So now we have dogs and humans living together, where dogs want to stay in the pack, stay together, while humans, we separate a lot. What's happening right now is that we're staying together a whole lot, but there's going to be a time when this is over. All things pass. COVID is going to pass too, just like smallpox passed in the past. Smallpox passed in the past. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. So this is gonna pass as well, and then we're gonna be on to another thing. We have to make sure we're conditioning our dogs. We're making the strongest dogs possible. So we have to prepare for separation anxiety, or prepare to make sure that our dog doesn't have separation anxiety. For people who have young pups, and for my clients, as my clients all know now, I recommend that if you go and work in the office, if you're away from your dog during the day, definitely put your dog in the crate every single day. 3 hours. 3 hours. And I know that some of you guys are just like, oh man, Martin, seriously. 3 hours in the morning from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. in the crate, right? 3 hours in the afternoon. Now I have a lot of crate training videos out there. We're putting out stuff where we're showing you how to crate train your dog, and that is intentional and that is a planned thing. Like a lot of times it's us humans, what we think is like the crate is like a prison for the dog, and that the dog is not gonna like being in the crate. So we wanna leave him out of the crate, right? But if we condition the crate the right way, the dog can learn how to love being in there. I've seen it 100 or 1,000 times, see it all the time. The big thing is to condition it. The idea is that you take your pup, whether they're young or they're older, and you start to work on these exercises at the same time every day, so your dog gets used to the crate, right? Gets used to being in the crate, gets used to being separated from you. As it says in those crate training videos, I want to do it with the crate door open. I'm home all day, so I could train the dog to stay in the crate with the crate door open, and then later close the crate door. But what that does is it gives us an opportunity to let the dog be away from us for 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. That's 6 hours a day. That's going to make them more used to it when we go back to our normal schedules. And then pretty soon what happens is we go back to work, the dog goes in the crate, and the dog is being calm while we're at work, rather than doing things like destroying our furniture, destroying our homes, right? Separation anxiety is real. I've worked with dogs that jumped out of second floor windows when their owners are going to work, all right? And that is not what you want. You don't want your dog busting through the storm window and jumping down to the sidewalk 2 floors on glass, you know, when you're trying to go to work. That's gonna be disruptive. There's many videos, I'm sure Frankie will put a clip somewhere here, of dogs destroying, ripping down drywall, sticking their heads outside of the house, you know, going through the vent the dryer vent and sticking their heads outside the house and climbing outside the house that way. These things can all these things can be avoided by using our crate and by preparing for separation anxiety. All right. So let's say our dog is suffering from separation anxiety. How do we solve that? Because the way we solve separation anxiety is the same way that we prevent it. The first thing that we do is we identify the triggers. If the dog gets nervous every time I put on shoes, the dog starts drooling, starts looking droopy, starts getting in front of me, blocking the path to the door, starts being clingy, starts shedding a lot, starts showing signs of stress every time I put on shoes, what I start to do is I put on shoes and I walk around the house. I wear shoes enough till the dog doesn't think about it as a signal that I'm leaving the house. And then you'll see the dog not worrying about the shoes. If I pick up my keys and I realize the dog gets nervous because I pick up my keys, then I'll start to walk around with keys. And I'll throw them from hand to hand and I'll walk around until the dog is like, you know what? I don't care if you have your keys in your hand. If I notice it's my shoes and my keys together, then I wear both. I do both together. If I notice it's my shoes, my keys, and my jacket, then I put my jacket on and I throw around the keys until the dog does not care about that. I could put food in here too, but you don't really have to. Once the dog starts to make the association that the keys and the jacket and so forth does not necessarily mean that you're leaving the house, your part is done. The other part is making sure that your dog is in the crate and is practicing being calm in the crate with the door open. That's another part of dealing with separation anxiety. We bring those two things together. So now you tell your dog to go in the crate, you leave the door open, you grab your shoes, you grab your keys, you put on your coat, you put on your jacket. Your dog is calm inside the crate with the door open. You walk over to the crate, you close the crate door, you walk away from the crate, the dog is still calm, you leave the house, you go about your business, the dog remains calm at home. That's how that works. It's simple, as that is. All right, so I hope that's helpful in how we deal with separation anxiety. If you need more information on that, please just email me. I have a guide that I could send you that goes into much more detail about this if you need some more information. Another thing we should touch on here is containment phobia, which is different from separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is anxiety surrounding separation of the pack or the group. Containment phobia is anxiety or fear of being contained or trapped in one place. All right. I treat both of them pretty much the same. Containment phobia, what I do is I teach the dog to go in the crate when I'm there. I leave the crate door and I ask them to stay in there. And that by itself defeats the containment phobia, right? Because I'm there. It might take a lot of more work to get the dog just willing to go in, but you break it down the same way that you would break down a dog that doesn't have a problem going into the crate. So if the dog has fear of the crate, I make sure they chase the treat and I make that into a big thing. And then when I throw the treat inside the crate, it's going to start to break that down. I don't leave a dog with containment phobia out inside the house because a house is just a bigger crate. Yeah, that's true. A house is just a bigger crate. It's a nicer crate. It doesn't have the bars and all that, but basically it's a bigger crate. So if the dog is having a problem with being in a small crate in the house, they're going to have a problem with being in the whole house when you're away anyway. And that's going to give them access to more things that could actually damage them. So you have to deal with it. In my opinion, you deal with it in the crate first, where there's less things for them to damage themselves on. And then as they get used to being in the crate and overcoming the containment phobia there, then being in the living room is not a big deal. And being in the kitchen is not a big deal, and so forth, until you could just leave the dog in the house. All right? So I hope that's helpful. Containment phobia, separation anxiety. Let me know if you have any questions. And definitely subscribe to our channel. Yeah, that's the whole story. Enjoy your day, enjoy your dog. They might start to come to you looking for you to entertain them. The crate teaches the dog how to self-entertain, how to self-soothe. Which are really big concepts and things that me as an adult, I'm still learning how to do. Frank, do not put that in there. All right, let's start that over. That is not okay, Frank.